Hey everyone, and welcome to this new video for beginners about 20 tips to improve your gameplay. This video concept will get more videos since there are a lot of things to understand and to be careful of. Also, I have a little surprise for you, 5 codes for 5 people worth $20 each. All you need to do is to comment, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about the video, the game, or whatever you want related to Cards of Eternity. The best comments will be chosen, and you will have to add me on Discord. Further information in the description. Let's dive into 20 tips to improve your gameplay. Tip number 1. It might be the best advice overall, since you have to play your time given well. For example, after you have played your units, check if there is a sacrifice that could be made to get an advantage, or think about what you could play next turn. Use your time wisely. Tip number 2. The mulligan is the first step to victory. It is the first cards you will choose in your game, and it will make you succeed or not, depending on your choices. So make sure to take what you need according to your strategy, but also to your opponent knowledge. For example, if you know what decks your opponent used to play, you can keep some cards to counter it. Also, if he plays a specific adventurer or companion, adapt your choices. Tip number 3. A common mistake with beginners is to forget that there is the companion at the bottom left of the screen. You can start using it after the turn 4. However, you're not forced to do it at this specific turn. Use it wisely. Tip number 4. Don't forget that 6-pointed star has the reveal effect, meaning that you can attack with your adventurer, a Twilight Cloak unit. It is very useful to not forget that. Tip number 5. A very important thing when you are against Uno is to not deal damage only for 1 or 2 damage, even sometimes more, depending on the number of cards he has. You can deal damage, but you take the risk to give him more cards, and more cards mean more options for him to win. So be careful against Uno. Tip number 6. A mistake that might happen from beginner's point of view is to forget that the bow has to kill a unit to activate its discard effect, so make sure that you finish a unit with the bow. Also, if the unit has reincarnation, you will have to trigger it before. Otherwise, you will make the mistake as shown in the clip. Tip number 7. The bow is a very versatile card that I recommend, even with its recent nerf. Here you can see that you can use the bow on your opponent adventurer, dealing 4 damage, which can help you win more games. Tip number 8. A little trick when you have Uno adventurer: if you take damage, you draw a card. Now, we know that. But what if we deal damage to ourselves intentionally to draw cards? To make it, you can use a weapon like in the clip. Tip number 9. Sunrise Seal is an amazing effect you should put in your decks. It negates the effect of a unit played on board. You can easily forget that there is a Sunrise Seal on board, so make sure to double check every time. Tip number 10. Another trick with Uno Adventurer: you can use Hounds of the Shadow to deal damage to yourself and draw a card for 3 damage. But it might be dangerous, so make sure that you can afford to take these damages. Tip number 11. Something important with the Echo mechanic: it activates when you draw something while playing a card like Bubble of Evil or Chaos Mirror. But sometimes Savannah or Black Dogs appears on board for nothing worth, so it is better to pick them at the start of your turn when you can, if it is the best option, so you can trigger their effect depending on your needs. Tip number 12. Savannah is a very powerful card that allows you to copy a random opponent card that doesn't have Twilight Cloak or Inquisitor's Dome. But make sure that there is no Sunrise Seal on board, otherwise her effect will be cancelled. Look at the clips to see a good and a bad use of her. Tip number 13. In this game, the Plague debuff can become very annoying, but it also can be easily forgotten while playing your units. So take care when your unit has Plague. Make sure that it is worth to attack. Tip number 14. Something very important in this game is to sacrifice your cards. You are allowed to do it twice if you start first the game, or you can do it 3 times if you go second. Sometimes you have to take a risk to increase your chances of winning. In this case, I sacrifice my 7-cost unit that will come too late to take an early advantage and make a big turn. Tip number 15. Knowing Death is one of the best legendary in this game. Its effect is very annoying and you should always focus on killing him. But if you cannot kill him, make sure to spend all your 1 power so that you don't lose sacrifice crystals. Tip number 16. In this clip, you will see a trick with the new card Mind Trap Weaver. Its effect, Banish, puts an opponent card into the void for how long Mind Trap stays on board. The ones that kill Mind Trap will get the cards back, so you can steal your opponent card. Look at the clip. I got his card Janduin by killing Mind Trap with my Agenor. Tip number 17. Sayadun is one of the best legendary in this game. With it, you can kill a big unit immediately if you can reach it, but don't forget that you cannot execute an Inquisitor's Dome unit. This mistake might happen a lot. Also, in this clip, you can see that Sayadun attacks a unit but doesn't deal damage to it, so it won't get executed. Tip number 18. Since your main focus in the game is to defeat your opponent and turn his health point to 0, you should always consider killing him when you can. In this clip, you can see that the lethal was possible and was correctly processed. Amazing lethal by Fizmaluni. Tip number 19. Based on my experience in the game, knowing your opponent is important. For sure, you cannot know exactly what your opponent is going to play, but the more you play him, the more you will know the possibilities. So your memory is a good weapon. Also, you have to always adapt your decks to the current meta or to the recurrent opponents you get. Otherwise, you will have trouble winning. Tip number 20. And finally, the most important thing in every game is to have fun, make friends, share decks, feedbacks, thoughts. Make living the game by using its diversity. There is so many possibilities in deck building right now. You can always try to find the most fun deck or the best one to climb the ladder. Be creative. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget that in this video, you can earn $20 for your best comment, so don't hesitate to participate. Also, please like, subscribe to the channel. It is very important. See ya in the next video.